Ryan, this is my brother Daniel, and this is Rolls and the Family, and we are here to talk about our very top board game plays from the month of January.
Man.
Pretty good month, actually.
I know.
When I was looking through.
Wow.
You know, sometimes we talk about like December, the holidays. We often get some gaming together as like really tough choices. But I had definitely some ones I had to leave
January,
off
good start of the year. Maybe that's good forecast for 2026, right, Ryan?
It's just gonna continue.
Good
if
momentum.
You average like the enjoyment from every month so far of 2026. Right. The projections are looking great.
Well, I'm assuming in your goal setting for the year, you wrote down like play more board games,
have more fun, playing more board games. That was my whole goal setting.
Just all of it.
Session. That was it. It's just one line item.
That's it. And have a child. So.
I am any day now.
Any moment.
Any day now.
It could happen during this video.
Yeah, like I could have to. I could have to go.
I might have to finish
video.
this
Daniel
thing.
might have to finish it solo.
But
we will have links to all these games. If you want to check them out, because that's the great thing about this is we do not play exclusive games.
I don't think people would watch the channel if we did.
Sometimes there's games that you can't get because they're out of print or something. But in most cases, you too could be having these experiences with these games. Assuming you have people to play them with.
No,
if you could, leave in the comments below your top board game play of January and what made it so good.
So good.
See if you can put it into words. That's what we try to do here. Stumble over it. We do it live, though. You get to sit behind your keyboard.
You get all sorts of time to
craft
process.
the perfect sentence. Daniel and I have to bumble on
I know.
the fly.
We read through the comments, and let's just say we judge a lot of you because you had time to think about what you wrote. We just are
the misspelling.
Come on.
Let's get it together. Nice. Daniel, let's get this going. We'll start with your number 3.
So my number 3, Ryan, is special for a couple of reasons. One, I am in the process of actually renovating a different room in our house to being a dedicated board game room. So we actually, I picked up a board game table actually from someone who's watched our videos before here in Minnesota, which was just an incredible moment. So if you're watching right now, I set up the table and it looks great. So thank you. But anyway, so we still got to get carpet down and all that, but the table's set up. And I don't know why I set the table up before putting carpet in, but that's, besides
I did wonder when you sent me pictures, but
I was so excited, right? I couldn't help myself. So, because I've just never had a gaming table before. And so this was kind of the first legit game. I say legit because I did play a game of First Orchard with the children.
I was waiting for it to be First Orchard for this entry.
First legit game to try on the gaming table with my wife, and this goes to Forest Shuffle. And this is one, Ryan, that is really clicking with Kaylee and myself. Nice. We've now played it a few times. We had a really good play of it. I want to say it was a top play maybe a couple months ago, but played it again. And it feels like just every play, this one is really just landing better and better. I said this to Kaylee afterwards, Ryan. I think this game is scratching that similar itch that Race for the Galaxy scratched for us.
I can see that.
It's got a lot of kind of similar, hand, like you're paying, of the cards in your hand, you're using them to play to cards, but it's got also kind of that interesting aspect of what you pay to discard doesn't just go to a discard pile, but it goes to this shared center space that you can actually take cards back. And that's still the thing that I have to wrap my mind around is, Daniel, if you discard cards, they're not permanently gone necessarily.
You might get them back.
There's a way to get them back. And I think that's a key kind of part of what's going on in this game. But we had a really fun one of this. It feels like, you start to kind of learn there's different lanes of strategies you can go into. I was leaning into the European hare, which can you can stack. You can put as many European hares on one side of a tree as you want, and then I think the foxes that score based off of European hares. So I was going hard into that.
I wonder why they score off the hares.
No idea. No, there's a lot of thematic stuff here. So
after you score, there's just a a violent,
It's just a
predatory
massacre. Right?
massacre
Yeah,
of the
it's tough.
hares.
It's tough to
It's
see.
so sad.
But also had some nice butterflies going. If you can get different butterflies,
Yeah.
and it was all worthless because Kaylee smacked me. She destroyed me. Oh my gosh, she had a great game. I'm trying to even remember what strategy she went with, but it was she
Could not be matched.
it could not be matched. So, but despite getting whooped, Ryan, I had a lot of fun with this one, and it's got me already looking now at I know the expansions are supposed to be pretty solid.
Yeah. The more I've heard about it, the more it sounds like if you have the original Forest Shuffle, the expansions are really good for expanding the variety and improving the balance. And then they also now released the Forest Shuffle Dartmoor.
I
which
know.
is
Well, that's the big question. Is
standalone.
people are like,
well,
which one?
I think you can go either way. What I've heard is that if you have the original, the expansions are definitely worth getting.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have them, going Dartmoor kind of as just a base game is maybe a little more balanced without needing, because they kind of learned a little bit from the
nice thing is, I'm so
new.
new to this game that I don't even know what the imbalances are.
Yeah,
so,
Kaylee figured them out, I guess.
Kaylee has definitely figured them out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
But
that game went
I
better.
honestly, Dartmoor is probably on my interest list, just because Forest Shuffle was on my interest list. But then there's a little bit of like, okay, if you have Forest Shuffle, I could get the other version of it.
And for the first
time,
time, Ryan, we played correctly. Where every time you play a tree, you have to take a card from the top of the deck and put it out into the display.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that rule from when I played.
I know. That's a critical rule because if you don't do that, the game takes so long because there's a lot of trees are being played. So the game, the pace felt way better. And
nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Nice. My number 3 is a new to me game this month, and I played it quite a bit actually. If I have to pick a specific play, maybe it's like the first one, just because that was when I really was like, oh, this, like it felt like I was really seeing that this game is maybe better than I was thinking it was going to be based on what I had seen online. And this is Harmonies. Ooh. And Harmonies is one that I have known about for a long time, but I feel like it landed in a genre that's pretty saturated. Like Cascadia is probably like the biggest popular one in this kind of tile laying, working on your own thing. But there's been lots of other ones. I mean, I think of Calico. I could probably think of others, but these pattern building, work on your own thing games, like there's a lot of different ones. And having Cascadia, there wasn't a lot that drew me to Harmonies of like, yeah, that would be another one that makes sense to get in my collection. But I tell you, over time, and this is something that I really like about hanging back, not being on the bleeding edge of games that are coming out, is because you can start to see what are the ones that trickle up the BGG ratings. What are the ones you keep hearing people talk about?
Right.
And years later, I don't know how long Harmonies, it's still fairly new, but it's been out long enough now that it's kind of worked its way up to where it kind of prompted that second look. I'm like, okay, like people are really, really liking this one. And so I think I saw it on sale or something. I was like, you know what? I'll pick it up. And this, I tell you, the first time I played it, I'm just having this realization of, I think this puzzle to me is more crunchy and satisfying than something like Cascadia.
Whoa.
Cascadia is pretty chill.
That's hot.
I mean, there's some stuff with the animals, but it's pretty chill and expansive. Harmonies is a little bit more restrictive in that you have a limited spaces to play on in your boards. You can't just keep expanding out.
But we do like
restriction. But it is such an optimization puzzle. So you probably don't know that much about Harmonies. So maybe I'll give a little bit of context.
I've seen that.
So there's some basically every turn you're basically taking 3 of the tokens from one of the 5 options that are out there. So it's just kind of like a little drafting thing to take 3 and add those onto your board. There's some simple rules of like how you can add them, like the field and the water ones have to be on the base level, but then you can, like wood, you can build up on top of each other, and then you can cap it with a green to be like a tree that'll score. Rocks can stack on top of each other, and like rocks that are next to each other they only score for the stacks if they're next to other rocks. So you kind of want to like make rock formations. And then there's these buildings that can go on the ground or can go on top of like a wood, a rock, or another building, and they score for having 3 different things around them. So you want like variety around your buildings. So there's kind of just these, you're going to score at least with the baseboard for your like longest river of water. So it's kind of just this base terrain scoring that's always in play. But then you're getting these animal cards. And every animal card has some pattern that you would need to complete to put that animal into your habitat. So you'll have like, I need a 2 tall tree with a field next to it. And if that happens, I can take a cube off of my card and I can put it on the field, and that's going to score the points for that. But you don't just do it once with an animal. Every animal has multiple cubes, and the more times you get that animal into your habitat, it's like escalating points. And so what's so cool about this game, and what I think makes it such an interesting optimization puzzle, is you can reuse things to build the pattern again. So in that example that I had the tall tree and a field next to it, if I just put another field next to the tree, I can get another one out because the cube is going onto the field.
Okay.
And so you can only have 1 cube per thing. And so you're starting to think about like, how can I trigger this multiple times?
Yeah.
But then you could take more than 1 animal at once. You can have up to 4 animals. So now you're looking for animals that synergize and like, oh, I can get these patterns to overlap and trigger them in multiple times, but I got to be careful because like I'm putting the cubes out that's taking up places where cubes could go. And you're doing that while you're trying to also optimize the underlying terrain puzzle. And I tell you, it just clicks with me. Like it just felt so interesting and satisfying. There's definitely some luck of the draw with like how well the animals synergize or like, oh man, I really need fields and like they're not getting drawn from the bag. So like I'm just like not getting as many of them. But it's really, really good. And I've played it enough times now that I'm just like, man, I don't think I'm going to get tired of this. Like, I think this is a game I could play.
How many times have you played it?
I'm probably up around 10 plays.
Wow.
I've played
That's
it a couple times on BGA as well. They have a good implementation of it. I definitely prefer playing in person just because it's got a really nice tactile element to it. But here's the other thing. Cascadia, not to pick on Cascadia, I still like Cascadia.
I don't know. They're
different. That's the thing. They're different. There's people
different.
that I think would like. I'm going to keep Cascadia around, but Cascadia typically is around a 45-minute game in my experience. This one, almost all my games, and granted, a lot of my games have been 2-player, but a lot of my games have been landing in closer to the 20 to 30-minute range. Like this game, if people know how to play, like you can really fly. And so, in a lot of cases, I feel like I'm getting like a more satisfying puzzle in less time, which for me, like if it's just up to my personal taste, is gonna like win out every
all
time.
About efficiency with board games.
But you know, there's gonna be times where I'm like, the right one for this group is probably gonna be Cascadia. But I am really interested. We're gonna have an opportunity to probably play some games together in a few months here.
Hopefully,
little family get together. Definitely we'll have this one along. I think both you and your wife are really gonna like this one, and it's a great 2-play game. Like, I don't know. I'm placing my bet here on the record. I think after Daniel plays Harmonies, he's going to decide.
Stay
to get
tuned.
Harmonies.
Let's see what top play of the month would that be. That because I'm coming out in April, so it's going to be our top plays of April. If it doesn't make it, yikes!
My
Ryan.
son Toby actually likes it a lot. It's been fun to.
Is Toby going to
see
beat
him,
me?
And he'll beat up on you in it.
Happened before.
So yeah, really, really nice one. Glad I didn't overlook it, because now it just feels like I don't know, a staple in that niche in my collection. Like it might be my favorite of that type of game.
Wow. Now I'm sad I overlooked it. I know that one also has been on sale before.
Yep,
I
you
think
missed it. You're going to have to pay so much for it.
I know. Can you imagine? Okay, Ryan, my number 2. This is kind of the opposite of what you were saying about Harmonies. In that Harmonies, you were saying it's cool to sit back and watch a game kind of just go up and up and over time get more popular. And this is one we were talking a little bit before this video of feels like when it first came out, it was super popular, hyped. We owned it. We actually don't own it anymore, but a friend of mine has it, and we got the opportunity to play it again. You don't hear a lot about it anymore, but this goes to Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game. And I actually got 2 plays of this the last month, back to back. We played the first game, and then one of the guys had to leave, and then we were kind of like, what should we do? And we're like, well, we know how to play this. And so
there's
we're like,
something to be
we're
said
like, let's just
for
play it
running
again.
it back when everybody knows
well, it's
how
like
to
we
play.
know like just the you another
It's
game you'd have
fresh
to
in your
remember the
mind.
rules and stuff. And the reality is the first game was fine. We kind of got wrecked just across the board. And so I think there was a little bit of us that's like, okay, we want to like give it another go. And so specifically the second play was a really fun one. I was the betrayer in the second,
Which there
game.
isn't always a betrayer,
Yeah.
right?
So a little context, because I don't think this game gets talked about a lot. This is kind of a zombie apocalypse game. You're in this camp, but also then having to like, so you're having to like feed the camp and protect from zombies, but also then travel out to these different locations to explore and do all sorts of stuff.
Scavenge.
And at the start of the game, everyone gets a secret objective. There's a collective objective for the mission that you're all trying to do, but you'll have a secret thing as well. And so to win, you have to do the group one along with the personal one that you have. But there's always a chance, it's not guaranteed, that there's a betrayer in the group who has obviously an objective that is not the shared group objective, but something very different. So I was the betrayer. And Ryan, I played this game so poorly at the start. You just wouldn't even. You would have someone was sitting over my shoulder and watching what I was doing. They would have said, "Daniel, you
Is it
are
as bad
just
as the time that I was playing Battlestar Galactica and 2 hours in, I remembered that I was in fact a Cylon. I got so into playing it off that I was.
I'm just gonna go full confession mode of how bad I was playing. So I'm the betrayer. Now, in my mind, it's like, okay, you really want to build trust early so that you can kind of. When you do make a move that's not great, people feel like they can trust you. But I went way over the top. I was because I had a great
MVP for this.
Seriously, at the end of the game, I was like, I think I was the best contributor to our team on the good side because I found all of these great weapons. I had a character who was really good at searching, and I was just passing these snipers around and all this stuff to where at the start of the game we were dominating. We had the objective where we just had to clear 2 stacks of items, search 2 stacks completely in 2 external locations. And we had a ton of searching abilities. We were winning so easily. And so I'm like, oh no, I have gone way too far of helping. And so then I get to the point of realizing I need to, here's the other part where I'm just playing so terrible. My betrayer objective, like obviously I needed us to hit 0 morale, but I also needed to end the game with 1 survivor, 1 character in front of me. So Ryan, what would be the worst thing for me to be doing if I want to end the game with only 1 character? We'll probably take a ton of characters from searching. I had 5 characters. Now, in my mind, I was like, oh, well, get the dice early because you get more dice when you have more characters, but not realizing, oh no, Daniel, you're going to have to kill off 4 of them.
And that might be a little suspicious.
Well, it's going to be suspicious. You have to have 4 morale available to lose before. So I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, I have this moment in the middle of the game. I'm like, I think I played this literally the worst I could have. But anyways, so we get to this point where I'm realizing, oh my gosh, I'm in terrible shape. They're about to just win so easily. So I got to do something. So we get to a contribution, where you're putting in cards to the contribution. I'm like, I got to throw it. Here was the other problem where I did not play well is I should have thrown it by just putting in 1 card. Just 1 card that was wrong. We would have lost it because that could have created some suspicion. Problem was I put in 2 cards and the 2.
Did everybody else put 1?
No. Well, so I was the first one to go. So that was the problem. I led with 2. And it was 2 from a single location. Now, a lot of us had been to that location, but 2 from a single location. Well, everyone else put 1, 1, 1, and then 0. And I'm like, now what was funny about it is one of the guys had a phone call before it. So he's away talking while the other guy is revealing the crisis cards because they think they're just going to pass it easily.
Yeah.
And then he sees 2 that are wrong, and they don't immediately remember that I put in 2. So I was banking on that they wouldn't remember. So I was like, yeah, we've kind of all been, oh my gosh, we've all been to the school. Which one of us is it?
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, and so I almost got away with it, Ryan, until finally they like really sat down and like crunched through and figured out that like, oh, Daniel put in 2 cards.
You're like, I don't know if that logic checks out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, I was so trying to lean on that. So, yeah, they immediately exiled me. But here's where it gets spicy, Ryan. So I get exiled. Well, that changes your objective. And I get dealt a new objective, and my objective is remorse, where now I am sorry for how I've betrayed the team, and I now actually want the team to win. I don't care about morale losing.
And you helped them so much.
Yeah, but what's so funny about it is I'm like, guys, I can help. Like, I'll give you guys cards. I want to help the team. And they are so suspicious of me.
Yeah.
And they are not trusting me. And they're so confused about what I'm doing because I'm like actively helping the team. And so we get to the end and we actually all won the game. I completed my personal objective. We as a team won. I was remorseful for my actions
for your one action.
For my one action. Yeah.
Yes.
So here. One sec. I got a child in the room.
Child in the room.
We'll do a little editing
Child
trick.
in the room break.
Editing trick. And we're back. Children.
Children.
Think they can walk in the room.
Come on.
Hey,
just because we call it roles in the family.
He wants to be part of the channel, Ryan. We got to get him hired. Micah,
it's the long play here.
He's 2 now. He can contribute. So anyways, Ryan, it was really fun to get that one played again. It's
nostalgic.
It's nostalgic, and I think we've said, it's interesting. You never hear about this one anymore. Like I can't remember the last time I've heard someone talk about Dead of Winter, and it's a solid semi-cooperative game. It can be brutal. I will argue that die. When you move, every time you have to roll it, and like one of the sides will just kill you, one of the sides will infect you and spread. Like that's one of the most brutal dies in the game. But we had a fun play of it. It makes us actually, as a group afterwards, we were talking about trying Nemesis sometime too.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the modern one that has really gotten popular.
Okay, Ryan.
Nice. Speaking of nostalgic games that we played way a long time ago, probably back in like 2011 or so. Not Yu-Gi-Oh! And one that also left our collection, but now is actually back in both of our collections. The new edition, anyway. This is Through the Ages.
Oh, what a good game.
So we back in the day had Through the Ages 3rd edition or whatever it is. You remember all the little yellow and blue things were little cylinders instead of cubes, so they just like rolled everywhere. And they were like this big.
I have PTSD of playing Through the Ages with you.
Some rough games.
All those wars Ryan was launching on me.
But the new edition, some great cleanup of the system, tightening things up, getting rid of a little bit of the brutality, though you can still find yourself in a bad situation in this game. So good to get this one back to the table, and I got it back to the table with 3 players.
I couldn't believe it.
Like normally this would be a 2-player game, and 2 players that hadn't played it before.
What'd you guys clock in at?
This was maybe a little ambitious. We were under 5 hours, which I was predicting to be over 5.
That's really impressive, actually.
I think we were like 4:45 or something,
really
and that's with 2 brand new players, so I was pretty happy with that.
Good job, Brian.
Yeah, this game has an awesome epic game arc. Mm-hmm. It takes a long time to play, but the fact that the theme is you're starting in like antiquity or whatever, and you're going all the way to modern times, you just feel like you've done so much and come so far. And so I think it is this weird thing where the length is almost like a feature of the experience.
Yeah.
And so we had a really fun session of it. I was midway through this game. I'm getting like a really good engine going. I mean, obviously I've played the game a lot more and they're both playing for the first time. And so I'm feeling pretty good, but I was just really late turning that into a culture engine, because culture is ultimately what wins you the game. Right. And I was just a little behind on that. I had set myself up that if the game went another hour, I would have just absolutely destroyed because I had so much going behind it.
Yeah.
But I hit a point where it was like, oh, dang, like we're coming up on era 3. Like, I don't have that much time to turn this into points. And meanwhile, the one other player had really gotten some big culture producing ones earlier. I think he had the Eiffel Tower, which has a lot of culture production. And so he was just steadily extending his lead because every turn he's producing 7 culture and me, the other guy, are producing like 2 and 1 or something. And so it was such a fascinating game down the stretch because we get to a point where the one player has a huge lead from his culture production, but is in a really bad spot in that he is so constrained with not able to get new workers with his food and with everything. Like he just was really in a constrained spot with it. But he was still producing a lot of culture. I'm in the position where I've like got a huge engine behind me. Now I just got to turn it into points. And then we have the other player who unfortunately had fallen behind a little bit in military. And so now he was a kind of a target going into these last ones. And so it was so irritating because I'm trying to catch the one player, but he keeps drawing the perfect cards to attack the other player and like steal things. Or he did one that he took like 7 culture, and I'm like trying to catch him on culture. And so then like I'm going, okay, I need to get my military up because if I get past him, his constraints, he's not going to be able to rebuild his army as fast as like I could very quickly get to a point where I can do the same to him. But then I just wasn't drawing good political cards because you have to get those aggressions out of that deck. I'm sitting there with freaking a hand of 5 of the things that you can use to defend yourself. The defense cards and the colonization.
You were well defended.
And I'm like, this is not what I need. I was looking for anything to be able to put a little more pressure on this other player. The other thing I'm hoping for is any of the like era 3 events tend to be these like end game scoring things that score a lot of culture. And if you get them into the deck, even if they don't trigger, you score them all at the end. Like you flip the deck and score all the 3s. And so I'm like, in almost every statistic am like ahead on him other than culture. So if I get some of these good ones, I likely can get him in and get some good endgame scoring. The only one I drew was the impact of happiness, which is happy faces, which is the only other thing he was dominating in. And so I was like, well, I'm not putting that in. And so it just was a funny thing of where I felt like I was in such a strong position, but just didn't have the right pieces to like turn it. And so it ended up being what I thought, like, because I was expecting I'm going to blow past him, you know, once. And as time goes on, I'm like, am I even going to be able to catch him? Like, if I can't convert this into a little bit more culture. And as the game gets closer to the end, getting culture production isn't as valuable because you're only going to get a couple turns to do it. The clutch play for me, I ended up at the very end. I ended up just pulling it out by like 5 points. The clutch play was fast food restaurants, which is a wonder in this game. It's a wonder in the third era, and it's a hard one to do, like because I think it's 4 steps of 4 resources. But I had whatever infrastructure blue card that lets you can do multiple steps. So that was really big, and I had good resource production, so I was able to knock it out very quickly at the end. And then fast food restaurants basically scores, I think it's 2 points for every one of your mines and farms, so like your yellow cubes that are on your food and resources, and then 1 point for every military unit. And so I think I scored 25 culture on the one card. And so that closed the gap that I needed to close. And then it was still coming right down the end. Again, he kept getting these like aggression. I felt so bad for the other guy because he was getting really hammered. Really, you know, if you ever play this game,
get your military up.
The only way you're going to have a bad time, like a really bad time, is if you fall behind. In military, he also just had bad luck of me and the other guy are sitting over there with all these like 6 defense cards and he didn't draw any of them.
That's brutal.
And he also had switched to a government that he only had 2 military actions, so he wasn't drawing as many, which I think was part of it. He went to a very non-military government. The other player went more military and then had Napoleon, I think, who gave extra.
Seems like an aggressive.
And so he's drawing more cards. And so I was like, it wasn't all, while it felt a little bit like luck of the draw, I was like, well, he is drawing the most cards.
Right.
And like,
it's true.
So it made sense. But it came down to the very end and it was so funny. I actually made a joke because we're going into the last round, and the player who's getting beat up on is the last one to go, and he is putting an event in, a 3 event, and I'm like, that might be it may come down to the card he's putting in, which one of us wins. And I made a joke of like, because we had some I'd done really well with colonies during the game. We had some come up that I like they didn't do anything for me, so I kind of like just didn't bid on them and let the player that was getting absolutely hammered like have a little bit of stuff. And I made the joke that I was like, but watch, it's going to be like scoring colonies at the end, and I'm going to regret not like taking those. Well, lo and behold, he puts in the score culture for every colony card you have, which fortunately I still had enough that I pulled ahead. So I almost lost the game because of, you know, giving something up thinking it didn't matter.
Right.
But that card was enough to swing it at the very end because I had something like
what was
5.
What was the final score there? Do you know?
I don't remember the exact numbers. I won by about 5, and then the next player, the third place was probably 40, 50 back.
5. That's a tight.
It was tight, yeah. And honestly, the third player didn't do that bad, but those aggressions down the stretch just it was like he was about to bring out modern infantry to like solve his problem, and then the other player does an aggression that steals 7 science or whatever it was, and now he doesn't have enough science to play the military out.
Wow.
And then he like got his resources stolen, and so it was just like, oh yeah, it was. I felt a little bad, and I was trying to help. I even made a peace treaty with him.
That's the benefit of a 3-player game. You're supposed to help.
I know, and by the end I did a couple aggressions.
I blame you more than him, honestly.
I was trying. I even made a peace treaty with him that like we wouldn't attack each other and we each produce a culture.
There you go.
So I was like, I'll help you, and I'm gonna go after him.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a good game. It's an epic game. It really makes me want to get the expansion. I don't think you've played. You have it, right?
I do. Yeah.
But I don't think you've played with it.
Not with the expansion.
But it basically adds, I think it like doubles the amount of leaders and wonders. And now every game you still have the same amount in the game, but you can have a mixed pool.
Because I believe now when you shuffle kind of placeholder cards. So when you draw it, you just draw from a leader off the top of the deck. Yeah, which is a great way of handling
awesome.
It. Yeah.
You know, because the base game is great, but you do see every card. So it's like you're never surprised at the beginning of the game. There's Moses again. Yeah. So it would be nice to just have some mix up with that.
Right.
But yeah, it's good to get this one played again. You know, games that don't get played a lot, you need that reminder of just how much you like it. And this is one that I really do love it, and I think it earns its length for me.
I'd be interested to see where this falls on your top games of all time after another
it made
good.
It this last year,
right?
I think,
but I think it's going to shoot up a little bit.
It might. Yeah, I think it was in the teens, maybe somewhere.
Oh well, that's already pretty high.
That's pretty high.
Well, you said
I played it a lot.
I think it made it. So I mean, it sounded like it was like a 48 or something. But...
No, I'm saying I think I had gotten it in time for it to.
Gotcha. Okay. Well. Ryan, my number one was a game that I've talked about a lot over the last year or so.
Our audience is sick of it.
But this was just a wonderful yet sad play of this game. And my number one goes to Arkham Horror, the card game. So Buddy and I have been playing through the Dunwich Legacy campaign, and been really cool. I've honestly, Ryan, here's the sad part on my end. You know, when you are in a cooperative game or whatnot and you just feel like dead weight to the team?
Yeah.
That was me.
I've been in games where you're dead weight to the
like
team.
The guy I was playing with, he had I forget her name, but the kind of a fighter, really strong with fight woman. And he was just dominating. Like, he was so strong. My guy was oh gosh, I'm forgetting like the classes, the purple, the guy with the trumpet, and I don't know, he's got some kind of weird different things he could do. Like his ability is around like if you draw the skull token out of the bag, it's a +0 instead of what it would normally do. And then there's a lot of cards that you can get that like are around like making those other things you draw from the bag kind of better. So I did some stuff there. I just never felt like I had a clear direction with him. So that was part of there were some games where it was like, yeah, hey, you're really carrying us completely. But anyways, we get to this scenario, and we are ascending this mountain that we're needing to like, get to.
Don't spoil too much.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play this campaign.
Sorry, we're and
now I know there's a mountain.
You know there's a
Gosh,
mountain.
dang it.
Sorry, I forgot you still might play this. But anyways, we're going and we're doing pretty good to start. We're going and we get to this point where like I am just getting we're actually kind of both getting wrecked at this point. But it gets to this moment of realizing, okay, I need to basically go sacrifice myself to take the hit.
For the greater good.
So that he could, it's one of those moments where it's like, we're going to lose, but if I go take the hit and die, you will be freed to make a run and have a chance, and a very unlikely run, but a run. So we're like, okay.
I as a side note, I do like that with like the Cthulhu theme, that those types of moments like still make thematic sense, because it's like we're like saving, the stakes are so high that someone like
It's
giving
worth
up
it.
their life like actually feels like it would make sense.
So I do that, and this is the second to last scenario of the campaign, and so we're like, okay, and the other thing is like, okay, if I die, like, okay, it just means the next scenario I come in with another wound or sanity or something like that. So I lay down my life. And it frees him, and he has like 2 locations he has to get to, and I want to say he had to do some evades that were really difficult. Like he had to get 2 different evades because we had to ultimately get the clue tokens off of like the last place or something. But to get there, he had to do it, and he like goes and he gets past miraculously, gets past, and then he in his final turn, there's 4 clue tokens that he has to get off of a single location. And he has to move there, and then he has 2 actions. Now, getting 4 clue tokens with 2 actions is quite difficult, but he has a card that when he does a test, and if he's successful, he can take 2, I believe, instead of 1. And so it's like, oh my gosh, it literally comes down to this of he's got 2 that like, he already did the really difficult evade. The evade was the hardest one. He actually had decent odds on these 2. And he draws the first one and he gets it. And we get the 2 clue tokens. So it is literally the one draw. This is it. Win or lose. And he pulls it. And in such like fitting fashion for how that whole game had gone, he drew the -5 or something like that, and we drew. So the game added, I want to say, in that mission a -5 modifier to the bag,
and you found
we found that thing so much, and so it was like so ironic to draw that. So he falls on the last draw, and to make it even more sad, we find out that you didn't just lose that mission, but the being that you were going to try to defeat came down and absolutely devoured us, and the campaign was over. and so literally the campaign ends on the final draw. But it was so fun. Like I think we said honestly that mission was probably the most fun one of even just the whole like it just we always love in those cooperative games when it comes down to just we have one shot here and to get a chance at it. That's what we love about these things. So played through it. It was really, really fun. I'm excited to get a new character because I did not do good on the last one. We're actually talking about this time actually doing a little bit of like our own customized deck building for it. So playing around with that. So stay tuned. That could go either really good.
Yeah. Do you know what campaign you're going to do next?
We'll probably just do the next one, which is the Path to Carcosa.
Path to Carcosa. Nice.
So I think you have that one too, don't you?
I think so. I've got
You've
lot
got a
waiting.
lot of stuff that you don't play around. That's great.
Though the plan is this year is to maybe do the Dunwich campaign with a friend. So.
And honestly, like I was saying to him, we're going to keep playing through new content because you got new content. But I could even right now go back and play through the Dunwich.
Yeah,
but with new characters, now you kind of, the game doesn't lean as hard into like it all being surprises per se. Like there's some of that, but there's also some fun in like, okay, this is what we kind of know in the campaign. There's these things.
I've actually found that because I've kind of gotten to see both sides of this coin with Lord of the Rings, the card game, which I played a lot.
Yeah.
Because all my early plays with Lord of the Rings, the card game, was very just standalone plays. Like I'm just going to play this scenario. But a lot of the newer stuff is kind of more this campaign stuff, and it's actually made me realize that the story, it's fine, actually reading excerpts and stuff. But I am much more about just I want to play a scenario and the mechanics of it and the interest of it. To the point where I'm almost wondering with that game if I try to reel it back a little bit to playing it more in that way, rather than trying to do the whole campaign thing. But Arkham Horror, the card game, works so well with the campaign really drives it. But it's very cool that you can replay. I think because I've learned that about myself, I would have no problem replaying the Arkham ones over and over because I'm not missing a ton from knowing the story piece.
And the game also does a great job of making just each scenario unique. A lot of times in scenarios, it'll be take these 6 cards, shuffle them, and deal 3 out to be locations. So,
yeah, it's not going to be exactly the same.
So the general thing about it, but it's not going to be the exact same. How is, a lot of times scenarios, how you perform, if you get this many, you go this, this result happens if you do this. So there's a lot of branching
and you
stuff.
come in with a different player deck, and even coming in with the same player deck, you shuffle that, the scenario is going to go different ways.
So. That's where I find games that rely too heavily on the surprise of the story or the narrative. I actually, that can be fun for playing through one time, but I almost like it more when it's the story's good and it's, engaging, but it's not so reliant on that you can't come back through and play it again and have it still be fun. So we are going to keep on pressing. Hopefully we can redeem ourselves. That was tough. Hopefully I can redeem myself, Ryan. That was really tough. And the whole time I'm he must just be so disappointed in me right now.
Yeah, you can only have so many campaigns of you being the dead weight.
It was tough. It was tough.
I had nothing else to say, so we could just end there.
We'll end there, Ryan. You gonna share your number 1 game?
Oh, mama! So we cut there because I accidentally forgot that I hadn't talked about my last game. I think I was just looking at our time on the recording and what we were talking about, and I just thought we were done. So
I'm well, I don't know
guess
what Ryan's
Daniel
doing
wants to hear my top
I do,
game.
Ryan. The people want to hear.
The people want to hear him. You were in my top game, actually.
No way.
So there's different reasons games can, send up a list for this, a particular play. And this is an example of one that I don't think it was necessarily that the play was so amazing, but more that this has just been such a long time coming.
I was wondering
to get to try this game. And this is Food Chain Magnate. We've talked about wanting to try this back since it first came out in 2014, 2015 or so. Finally got the chance to try a 3-player game. And this is a game that your first play, you're bumbling around a little bit. This is a hard one.
The guy next to me wasn't bumbling around.
Yeah. Our friend who,
I think
I think he was doing all right. But it's one that's a little hard to. It's very different from anything we play. Different. It's very, very different.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool implementation of the theme, the way it does supply and demand and the way you do these marketing campaigns and it, affects the opportunities and the way somebody will come in and do something and suddenly the whole landscape changes of where, now everybody wants pizza. I need to think about this. It's just a fascinating game. I still at this point don't know the answer to the question, is this a game that's going to stay in my collection? But I'll say this much, that after that one game, I have thought about it and I
want to play it again.
Wanted to play it again.
I want to play it again. Yeah.
And so as long as that's how I feel about it,
that's a good determining factor.
I'm going to keep it around. And as long as I feel like I have people that,
that might be the harder
would enjoy playing it. I really would like our sister to try it because I think it's in the lane. I mean, honestly, the feeling this game gave me, the closest comparison I can think of is Arcs, honestly.
Yeah.
The feeling of people might come and take my stuff. Like I'm targeting this thing, but like, and just, it's very interactive, but it's also very like, maybe not intuitive. Like it's just a fascinating system to wrap your head around. I think Arcs is also that way of figuring out how do I best squeeze success out of this. Is very interesting. Now our game was weird because this game has such an interesting thing with those milestones of like, it's a race to these milestones, and the first person to do it gets this like ability for the rest of the game
that are good.
But they're like incredible, but they're like also low hanging. Like a lot of them at the beginning of the game, it's like throw away food for the first time. It's like, well, literally if I hire a cook, then I throw away food. And then you have a refrigerator for the rest of the game that you can store. You did not have a refrigerator.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about this is like, if you both do it in the same round, you both get the milestone. And so our game was a little strange because we all at the same time got the marketing milestone, which makes all your marketing campaigns eternal.
Yeah,
so that meant
crazy.
Literally any billboard or anything we put out, anybody put out, was going to be there for the rest of the game advertising.
We were marketing like crazy.
And so I almost felt like we were missing a little bit of the dynamic you would normally have in the game of like marketing campaigns phasing in and out in the landscape. Instead, it was like we had this static landscape that was just additive. It was like, these people are going to want burgers forever, and now they also want. And so it was very interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard that I have all the expansion content in this new deluxe edition. There's the new milestones sheet that you can just wholesale trade out for a new set of milestones. Cool. I've heard that one's actually maybe a little bit more dynamic or beginner friendly. It'd be interesting to try it. But that's definitely a big part of the game is like understanding some of the starting recommended hiring phases, which is the other really fascinating thing in this game is building out your whole org chart and like what things do I hire. The game has this interesting like turn ahead cadence of like somebody puts out a marketing campaign. That marketing campaign isn't going to apply till the next turn. So you have a turn to reorganize before it applies. And I feel like there's a lot of things in this game that like people will surprise you with something. And it's like, okay, in a round, that's now going to change everything. But can I react to it well enough? So fascinating game. I didn't do very well. I think I got last place.
You did,
right?
Yeah. I was gonna mention that if you didn't.
You got second.
I did. I actually did. Like I did. You
got the CFO, which was first for 500. So Daniel rushed money a little more because you had some waitresses and stuff.
Yeah, I
did. And so you managed to get to $100, which was the milestone to get the CFO. Well, the CFO's amazing. Literally all the money you make the rest of the game, he just gives you a bonus of 50% of that earnings. Yeah. So that goes a long way when you're trying.
I was doing really good early. And then the guy who ended up winning, he got into my area and started.
Yeah, the only reason he didn't crush us by more is because he was fighting battles on two fronts because he was eating both of our pies.
He was
doing a good job of it.
He was doing
a
great job of it.
But yeah, like if he at least was split enough that we had like a fighting chance against half of his efforts. But I had a great time even though I lost. And like I said, it just left me wanting to play it again. And I tell you, probably the piece that makes me still think that this could be a game I keep around is the fact that at the beginning of the game, you randomize that map.
Yeah.
And that so changes the game.
That does.
And so I could see a world where if, this continues to be a game I enjoy, that's the piece that keeps me coming back and coming back.
Because nothing else is really
once you set up the static setup, it's set. Now, with the expansion stuff, there's a lot that you can do with like modules of like, we're going to play this one with the sushi chef and noodles or something and do a little bit of different thing. And it's, or we're going to play with these milestones versus these milestones. But that map,
it changes everything.
It just like, there's not a lot of games that do that you set up this completely randomized map and feel like the way it's randomized is going to just have such a huge impact on the game.
Yeah.
We in our map, nobody took advantage of it, but we did have that little loop that was like completely unconnected that had the one house. And we talked about it after of like one of us could have gone off the strategy of get over there, be the only one that can reach this, get the luxuries,
jack the prices up,
jack the prices up as much as possible, but literally be the only one that
especially
can deliver
because we have
here.
all the eternal marketing.
Yeah,
once you
exactly.
market there, it would have just kept.
And we were talking about how it would have been very hard for someone else to get in there later the way it was arranged.
Right.
But like next game, you'll do it out and it might not have that dynamic, or there's something completely different, or the ways that you put out your restaurants and it could be touching two things on either side of it. So that part absolutely fascinates me. Now, it's a game that you need a specific right group for it, and really it's going to shine if I can get it to the table with the same people over and over. We got to make sure this other friend doesn't play too much, or none of us are going to have a chance, but we'll train and then we'll go back and try to beat. But yeah, very, I'd say, good first play in terms of just... I felt like it lived up to what it was advertised. Like I went into it with a very good understanding of what this beast was, and like what, it's very unforgiving and you can get out of it early if you make some early mistakes. I also think a lot of that is maybe a little overblown by people who know the game well, that aren't assuming that the players are on the same level. Like a lot of those complaints about, oh, you're going to get behind and not be able to get back, kind of assumes there's somebody that's in the game that's more experienced, that's going to exploit that, and you're not going to be able to catch them. Whereas like we were all equally, well, not equally.
We were not all equal.
Yeah, we were not equal.
You and I were equal.
We all, to some degree, were, not
and I don't know,
great
Ryan, the score
at
would say you were less than me.
I was the worst, yes. But the thing is, like, all of us made mistakes later in the game, too. So, I mean, it's just like, I don't think it, I think it's more about the group being on a
Ryan,
similar level.
I think my waitress strategy was flawless.
It was flawless. I tell you, you got the CFO.
I did.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, if you had to ask me, like, put a percentage on the odds of this staying in your collection, I'm like 50?
I think it's under 50.
You think it's under 50?
And that's nothing about the game. It's just so hard to get it to
get the right group. And that's the rub.
Like, yeah, it's tough. I loved it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because it's so different. So it's got that going for it. Like I will keep games like Millennium Blades that I play once every few years.
TI4.
But it's unlike anything I have.
Yeah.
And so it's got that trait going for it.
It does.
But it's, like, can I find the group that, and it is harder because you want a group that's played it before. So I got to like start to grow the people in my group that could get it to the table. So maybe it'll be our sister. Maybe she
might be the linchpin.
She loves ARCs, but so glad to try this. Even if it leaves my collection, I'm so glad I got the opportunity to play it. I feel like if you're like a fan of strategy games in the hobby, like you should experience it at least once or twice, just because it's such a different and innovative game in modern board games. But I don't know. Subscribe, stay tuned. We'll see if I am talking about Food Chain Magnate again, either on a top plays or on a leaving the collection.
We'll find out.
Place your bets.
Thank you for watching. Great month of board gaming. I hope this is a forecast of 2026. I hope your 2026 is filled with gaming. And if any of these games are ones you want to inject in your 2026 gaming collection, we got links below. You can check them out. Purchase one of those. It supports the channel. We appreciate it. We got a couple more videos here that you can check out. We will see you in the next one.